Hello, my dear students. Again, I am pleased to be with you again here. Now we are going to study and follow the trig functions and related angles. So please concentrate with me. We have here, we will study the basics of geometry, which helps us to understand the trig well. So I will draw a right angle triangle here. We have a right angle triangle, and from our studying we know that if we have right angle here, triangle ABC, right angle triangle at B, and we have this angle will be 30 degrees, then the opposite side to the 30 angle, which is AB, will have the hypotenuse, which is AC. So AB equals half AC, and we have here 60 degrees, and the opposite side of 60 degrees will be CB. To find CB from Pythagoras theorem, we will calculate it. Square root what? Square root AC power 2 minus AB power 2. If we suppose that AC equals L centimeter, like that, and AB of course will be half L centimeters, and we will apply that root. AC power 2 means L power 2 minus AB power 2 means 1 over 4 L power 2. So the answer will be square root 3 over 4 L power 2, and we will get that the answer will be root 3 over 2 L. So in the right angle triangle at B, we have 30 degrees. The opposite side to 30 equals half the hypotenuse, and the opposite side to 60 will be half the opposite but multiplied by root 3. So it's root 3 over 2L. So try to keep it with me. If we here have a right angle triangle, hypotenuse of length L, the side opposite to 30, its length will be half L, and the side opposite to 60 will be root 3 over 2L. Okay, another basic is very important for us for understanding the lesson of today is reflection. We have studied reflection before. We have here y-axis and x-axis. If we have x and y coordinates like that, x dash, y dash, and we have a point like that here, 2 and 3. This is 2, this is 3, and this point will be 2 and 3. What its image by reflection in y-axis? To reflect this point in y-axis, we have to draw equal lengths, yes, and will be this point approximately, which is -2 and 3, -2 and 3. So the point A dash here is the point of A by reflection in y-axis. Concentrate and notice that the 2 or the x coordinate here, we have here this point, any point, it's an order pair, and we have x here 2 and y here 3. You notice that here will be negative x and y. So by reflection a point as x and y in y-axis, we will change only the x coordinates. If it is positive, then will be negative. If it is negative, will be positive. And concentrate also with me because the image of the 2 and 3 point on x-axis, it will be like that. We have here negative 3 and we have 2 here, so the point will be 2 and negative 3. And if its name is x and y, then this point will be x and the negative y. So we deduce now that if we want to find the image of this point by reflection in x-axis, we will change only the y coordinates. If it is positive, it will be negative, and if it is negative, will be positive. And the last thing I would like to talk is if we would like to reflect this point on the origin point, like that. This point will be negative 2 and negative 3. If we call this point A, and this point is A dash, we can call this point A double dash, and of course we will call this point A triple dash. And this point will be negative 2 and negative 3. Yes, you can notice that if we find the image of the point in the origin point here, we will change or converse all of these to x and y. If it is x and y, will be negative x and negative y. We will converse the sign. So the conclusion is now, if we have x and y here, to reflect it on y-axis, it works as a mirror. The answer will be here, a point in the other side equals negative x and y. If we would like to reflect it on x-axis, we will change only y-axis, so x and the negative y. If we would like to reflect it on the origin point, then the image point will be negative x and negative y. Okay? Yes. My dear students, basics which you studied in prep school or primary schools, it's very important for us for first secondary to understand the following trig functions. So concentrate with me to start with related angles now. If we have a circle here, I will draw a circle. If you'd like to draw with me, you can applicate this lesson with each other. We have a circle here, and I'll trace it to be clear here. We have a clear circle here, and we have x and y coordinates. We have y coordinate here, and also x coordinate. This is x-axis, and this is y-axis, and of course this is origin point. Okay, if you would like to draw an angle here, say 30 degree angle, it will be like that, 30 degree angle, and this is right angle triangle here. This is 30, this is 90, and we will call it A, B, O. Okay, we know now that the side opposite to 30 halves the hypotenuse. If I told you that is the unit circle, so can you tell me what the length of OA? OA is the radius of the circle. If it is a unit circle, then this point is the origin point, and of course any radius, its length will be one length unit. So the opposite side will be half, and this side will be root 3 over 2. So x here will be root 3 over 2, y here equals half. So this point, easily we can deduce that it is x, which is root 3 over 2 and half. Okay, so the coordinates of the angle 30 here, root 3 over 2 and half. And we have agreement that x-axis will be cosine theta. Theta here is 30 degrees. So cosine 30 equals root 3 over 2. And sine 30 will be half. Tan 30 equals sine 30 over cosine 30, as we said before. So it will be half over root 3 over 2, and it will be 1 over root 3. So cosine theta here equal root 3 over 2, sine 30 equal half, and tan 30 equal 1 over root 3. Or sometimes if you use your calculator, it gives you root 3 over 3. All of them are right. Okay, so when we try to draw another angle like that, if we draw a 30-degree angle here, this one, we have 30-degree angle, and we'll complete to draw a right angle triangle. Yes. So what is this? These coordinates now. From the basics which we studied today, we will converse what? We will converse x coordinate, and it will be negative root 3 over 2, and half will still as it is. And this angle will be 30. So what is the measure of this angle also? Here, this angle will be 180 minus 30. So when we say what is the sine of the angle 180 minus 30, this angle, which has a terminal side O A dash here, we call this point A, so we can call this point A dash, and we reflect it on y-axis. So we will deduce that we will change the negative positive root 3 over 2 as negative root 3 over 2. So sine here will be half. We know that sine will be y all the time, and cosine 180 minus 30 equals what? Equal negative root 3 over 2. Try to connect function with each other. We have here sine 30 equals what? Equals half. And this one, sine 180 minus 30 here equals half also. So we can say that sine 30 or sine 180 minus 30 equals also sine 30. Yes, and it is positive here. So pay attention to me, because we will find out negative or positive. What is the quadrant we have here in the second quadrant, and sine here in second quadrant is positive. If we try to compare between cosine 30 here, which is equal root 3 over 2, and cosine 180 minus 30 here, which is equal negative root 3 over 2, we'll find that cosine 180 minus 30 equals negative cosine 30. Yes, of course, because we have here cosine equal positive root 3 over 2, cosine 30. And cosine 180 minus 30 equal negative root 3 over 2. So one of them equal negative the other. So cosine 180 minus 30 here equals negative cosine 30. Yes, it's true. So concentrate and pay attention carefully with me that cosine in the second quadrant here, second quadrant, because 180 minus 30 means that it is between 90 here and 180 degrees. So it is in second quadrant. Cosine is negative. Okay? But sine is positive. Remember that. If we would like to find tan 180 minus 30, tan 180 minus 30 equals what? We know that it equals sine 30 over cosine 30. So the answer will be sine 30 will be half. Yes, we have studied it before, but 180 minus 30. If we would like to find sine 180 minus 30 here, so we'll change the paper now. I'll try to find sine tan 180 minus 30. It will be equal sine 180 minus 30 over cosine 180 minus 30, and the answer will be sine 180 minus 30 here equals half, and cosine 180 minus 30 equal negative root 3 over 2. So the final answer will be negative 1 over root 3, or the calculator will simplify it to be root 3 over 3. And if you would like to find out here tan 30 equals 1 over 3 from the last paper. Tan 30 equal 1 over 3 or 3 over 3. But here it's negative 1 over 3 or negative root 3 over 3. So it is the same number, but it's negative, or it's opposite in sign. So we can say now that tan 180 minus 30 equals negative tan 30. They are equal in magnitude or in value, but opposite in negative in the sign. We can conclude the previous things, that sine 180 minus 30 equals sine 30, cosine 180 minus 30 equals negative cosine 30, and tan 180 minus 30 equals negative tan 30. And this explains why that cosine and tan are negative in second quadrant. we know that quadrants here, 4, we have 4 quadrants like that. We have 0 degree here, 90 or pi over 2, and 180 or pi, 270 or 3 pi over 2, and we have 0 or 360 or 2 pi here. So we have the first quadrant here, the second here, the third here, the fourth here. So now we know that, and remember that carefully. Remember that sign in the second quadrant is positive. So sign here is positive in second quadrant, but cosine and tan are negative. Okay, and we know that all of them here are positive. So sine, cosine, and tan here are positive. Sine here are positive. Can we generalize this rule? If we have many angles like theta, is not will be 30 only, will be theta. Theta will be any angle. Can we generalize that? Yes, we can. Why we can generalize that? We can generalize because of the first basic geometrical rule in right angle triangle. And if we have any triangle, like we said, concentrate with me, if we have a right angle triangle here, and we have theta, but where? On the unit circle. We can say that sine 180 minus theta equals sine theta. Cosine 180 minus theta equals negative cosine theta. And tan 180 minus theta equals negative tan theta. So if we draw the unit circle here like that, I trace it for you to be a clear circle or a good circle here. We have a circle here, and we have x and y axis. This is x axis now, and y axis here. And don't forget that we have here origin point, and we draw any angle here. Okay, we say 30 because 30 is simple one. So this 30, this radius will be 1 because it's a unit circle, and we have half here, and this is root 3 over 2 here. If we write it not only 1, but it's 1L, this will be half L, and this will be root 3 over 2L. So we can generalize this. So now we deduce that sine 180 minus any angle, and pay attention that theta is an acute angle. What is the acute angle? Acute angle is that theta included between 0 and 90 degrees. So do not forget that we deal with theta as an acute angle here. So 180 minus theta always will be in the second quadrant, not in third or fourth. Okay? And remember that the second quadrant, sine here will be positive, and cosine here will be negative, and tan will be negative. Okay? We will transfer to another thing here. We discuss only the first, an angle in the first and second quadrant. So let us study the third quadrant also. So let us draw the unit circle again. I like unit circle because it explains to us the trig functions very well and easily. And we have a circle. And also we have x-axis and y-axis, the two coordinates intersect at the point, we call it origin point now. And we will draw that. That will be express 30 angle. I try to draw it correctly with the, to you to understand well. If we have here 30-degree angle, and this is right angle triangle here, A here is what? We know that this is 1, this is half, this is right angle, this is root 3 over 2. Again we return to 30 degrees angle, so here it will be root 3 over 2 and half. Okay, by reflection, yes, by reflection. Okay, by reflection here A will be A dash, and it will be negative root 3 over 2 and half. Okay, so here will be 30, and this angle, as we said, will be 180 minus 30. If we try to find another angle here like 30, what is this angle? Think about it, my dear students, think about it. We have only, yes, we have only short break, and we'll return again. Wait us. Which is the y-axis here, which part is positive, and this one will be OY dash, which is negative. So this part here will be negative half. So what is this angle now? This angle will be 180 plus 30. So we have a new angle lie in the third quadrant here, and it's equal 180 plus 30. 180 plus 30, which is equal 210, of course. So this angle 210, and we can express it at sine 180 plus 30. So sine 180 plus 30 will be what? Will be negative half. And cosine 180 plus 30 will be negative root 3 over 2. And of course tan 180 plus 30 will be sine over cosine, which is equal sine here negative half and cosine negative root 3 over 2. So the answer will be 1 over 3, and it's positive because negative divided by negative equal positive. So concentrate with me. Sine here in the third quadrant will be negative. Cosine in the third quadrant will be negative also. But tan, it is the only function will be positive here. So in this quadrant, tan will be positive. Here all of them are positive. Here sine only is positive, and here in the third quadrant tan will be positive. And from these results we can deduce that sine 180 plus 30 equals negative sine 30, and sine 180 plus cosine 180 plus 30 equals negative cosine 30. And of course tan 180 plus 30 equals tan 30. And we can generalize this function or this rule, and we can say that sine 180 plus theta, and we know that theta is an acute angle included between 0 and 90, so sine 180 plus theta equal negative sine theta, and cosine 180 plus theta will be negative cosine theta also, and tan 180 plus theta equals tan theta, and it is positive. So 180 plus any angle which is angle theta, sine this angle will be negative sine, cosine this angle will be negative cosine, and tan this angle equal tan theta, which is positive. And let my dear students, let me continue with you and try to study the angle in the fourth quadrant. Yes, we'll draw, if you would like to draw with me, the unit circle here. We have the unit circle. And we have x-axis also and y-axis intersect at the origin point like that. This is x-axis, x dash, y, y dash, and this is the origin point. And as we have drawn before, we will concentrate about 30 degree, and I'll try the drawing will be accurate for you here and this part here to understand the reflection well. And we have here this line passing through the origin point, and this one also passing through the origin point. Okay, this is the right angle triangle. This is 30 degrees, all of them 30. It's simple angle to understand the rules well. And we have here A dash, A double dash, A triple dash. A was root 3 over 2 and half, as we said and deduce. A dash equals negative root 3 over 2 and half. A double dash, all of them will be negative root 3 over 2 and negative half. And A triple dash will be what? If we find the image of this point by reflection x-axis, of course we will change the sign of y. So it will be root 3 over 2 and negative half. Okay? And try to find out a new angle, which is this angle here. This angle here equals what? Equals 360 minus 30. So we will try to find out sine 360 minus 30, cosine 360 minus 30, and of course we will try to find out tan 360 minus 30. We know that cosine will be x here, cosine will be x, and the sine will be y all the time. So cosine equal root 3 over 2 sine will be negative half, and tan will be sine over cosine, which is b will be negative half divided by root 3 over 2, okay, and it will be negative 1 over root 3. This is 30 angle, and this is its point, and the point, its coordinate root 3 over 2 and negative half, okay. It is the same as the angle 360 minus 30 because they have the same terminal side here, and of course they have the same point, which is a double dash and root 3 over 2 and negative 1 and negative half. So we know that sine 30 from here equals half, cosine 30 equal root 3 over 2, and tan 30 equals 1 over root 3 from the previous. By comparing these values with these ones, we will find out that sine 360 minus 30 equals what? Negative or positive? Look here, the answer negative half, and here the answer is half. So it's negative, yes, negative sine 30. And of course cosine 360 here minus 30 equals what? We have cosine here equals cosine here. So cosine equal the positive cosine 30. Tan 360 minus 30 equals tan here equal negative 1 over 3, and tan here 1 over 3. So they are different in the sign. So it's equal negative tan 30. And of course we can generalize that all over all angles, and we deal with acute angle, and we can say that sine 360 minus theta equals negative sine theta, cosine 360 minus theta equals cosine theta, tan 360 minus theta will be equal negative tan theta. And notice that we have sine is negative here, tan is negative, but cosine is the only function which is positive. Where? They are here in the fourth quadrant. So concentrate well. We have cosine theta here will be positive, and tan and sine will be negative. So we can conclude these answers in the quadrants. We will draw the quadrants here, my dear students, and conclude that which is positive and which is negative of trig functions in first, second, third, and fourth quadrant. So concentrate with me. We have the quadrants, the four quadrants here, x-axis and y-axis also, like that. And this is origin point, and we know that here is 0 angle, and this is 90 angle, 90 or pi over 2 in red, and here 180 or pi, here 270 degrees or 3 pi over 2, here will be 360 or 2 pi. So this is the first quadrant, the second one, the third, the fourth. Yes, all of these functions, sine, cosine, and tan here are positive. Concentrate because it is important for you, not only this year, but in following years, inshallah. Sine, cosine, and tan positive here, and sine is positive here. Sine theta, of course. Theta is an acute angle. And tan theta only is positive here, but sine and cosine are negative. But cosine here is a positive, and sine and tan are negative. So we can draw something for you that this is the kingdom of sine. Kingdom of sine, the first and second quadrant. So sine here and there are positive. And we can say that this is the kingdom of tan, which is diagonally here. Tan here is positive, and also in third quadrant, tan here is positive also. And let it cosine here. We write cosine clearly for you. Cosine theta. And this will be the kingdom of cosine. The kingdom of cosine, it's first, in the first is positive, and it is in the fourth quadrant positive also. So sine positive here, cosine positive here, and tan positive here in the diagonal. Okay? And we have studied many angles here, but we will study a new important trig function, which is 90. Okay? My dear students, concentrate with me, because we will study 90 and 270 angles. 90 plus theta or minus theta, 270 plus theta or minus theta. But first, let's try to understand the negative angle, the negative acute angle specifically. So if we have, again, unit circle here, this is circle, yes, and we have y-axis like that, vertical side of line, and x-axis here. And we will draw a 30 angle as we used today. Is a simple and easy angle to study. So we depend on it to generalize. We have here O, A, and this is right angle triangle. We can say B, 30-degree angle. And we know that this A equals root 3 over 2 and half. And I'll try to draw negative 30 angle. Negative will be on clockwise direction, as we know. This is angle, and its direction is on clockwise direction, so it is negative 30 angle. And we know that the coordinates of this point, which is A triple dash here, equals yes, okay, we have here half root 3 over 2 and half, but we know that if we reflect this point on x-axis, we will change y. So y here is negative half. Okay, so let's study the negative 30. What is its sign? Sine negative 30, cosine negative 30, and tan negative 30. Sine will be negative half here. Cosine will be root 3 over 2. And of course, sine divided by cosine equal negative 1 over root 3. Okay? And we will compare it with the original one, which is this point. Sine 30 equals half, cosine 30 equals root 3 over 2, and tan 30 equals 1 over 3. Compare them. You will find that sine negative 30 here equals what? Equals negative sine. They are different in sign. So sine theta or sine negative theta equal negative sine theta. We will generalize it for the time. And cosine negative theta, compare these two angles, it's the same. So it's cosine theta. And compare tan here, this one and this one, they are different in negative. So tan negative theta will be negative tan theta. So we can conclude that cosine negative here will be cosine positive, and we have no sign here. But sine, the negative will be outside, and tan will be outside. Okay, my dear students, we have finished our episode for today, our lesson, and inshallah we will meet again next Friday. Until that, I wish you a happy day and a happy week. Study well, don't go away, and goodbye.